Hello and welcome to Geek number 19. Today I'm joined by Kacy Tiller, who is an actress, streamer. She's also a photographer. She does a lot of things. So welcome, Kacy. And let's just start off with, how did you get into acting? Like, how old were you when you first started acting? How did you go to school for it?
Yeah, I went to ETSU. I actually got started, I did some early elementary school plays and middle school, that kind of stuff. I did not see myself going to acting at first. So I got to high school, I was in band, did a lot of like drawing on the side. It was just, yeah. And then I had somebody after band practice, they were trying to tell me to audition for a fall school play in high school. And I decided to do that, but I was massively afraid about being on stage and really scared about that. In auditions, my hands would shake like crazy. So I decided to audition, and I didn't get the part, but I volunteered to do like backstage work. So I did that for a few times. And then I got into my first role in a musical, Into the Woods, and that was my first time on stage and singing, and that was slightly terrifying at first. So after that, I really enjoyed it. And then I did Romeo and Juliet after that. And then I just fell into it and just fell in love with acting. And I always liked watching behind the scenes video of like how a film comes together. And I was always fascinated by it, like the special effects. So then I just got a full scholarship to go to study theater in college. And that's kind of like where it just started and just kept going.
And we do have a question from Mark the Martian. He wants to know, who are you? So, Kacy, give everyone a rundown about who you are, what you're into, all that kind of stuff.
So I've always been interested in video games. I've always been interested in film. I've done a lot of theater work. I've been on a national television series recently, and a lot of true crime work. I have had an audition with Netflix. So I'm just like working my way to a bigger goal. Like my first goal was making on TV, and that happened with Investigation Discovery and Oxygen and stuff like that. And then now my next goal is to make it onto like Netflix or some sort of streaming service. And I came so close recently to being in a Netflix film. And
that was cool, yeah.
It's coming out this year. It's The Highwayman, and
I think it just came out.
It did?
Yeah.
Okay. I need to watch that. I saw the trailer for it. I'm like, this is awesome. So it's directed by Kevin Costner, and it stars Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson, and Kathy Bates is in it too. But I hadn't auditioned for it. It's about two lawmen that go after like Bonnie and Clyde, and my audition was for Bonnie, for the role of Bonnie, and I almost like just died right where I was when I got that email. But unfortunately, I didn't get it. But it was an awesome experience, and it makes me feel more encouraged to keep going down the path. So,
I mean, you're so close to it too, and it's a pretty major film, so that's really good.
It feels like it's within reach, that it's possible, and it's just more of an encouragement to keep going. So,
which you've been in some other things like Homicide Hunter, Lieutenant Joe Kenda, Murder Calls, Pamela Smart, The Stranger, Brontosaurus, a lot of murder shows.
I mean, yeah, my IMDb is like murder.
There's a lot of murdering going on.
Those shows are fun. I like Homicide Hunter. I like doing those true crime things because it's fascinating learning about the story, because most of the time I don't know what the story is about, like what the person did, and then I find out about it little like pieces by piece, and it's interesting being part of something that actually happened. It's not like a happy thing, but it's interesting. Brontosaurus was a lot of fun. That one, it was playing an MMA fighter. So
I've actually heard about Brontosaurus before I knew who you were. I'd heard really good things about it, and I was like, I'm gonna watch that one day, and I still haven't. I can't find it. But then I'm like, oh, Kacy was in it.
It's here on YouTube. He put it on YouTube, but it was cool. Like for a while, he was just keeping it off of YouTube so he could submit it to film festivals, but yeah, that was a really fun role just because of the story. It was a very character-driven movie about an amateur MMA fighter that has done it all her life, and she doesn't know. She's at a fork in the road where it's like, do I keep doing what I've done, or do I need to like explore and figure out who I am that's not around like MMA fighting? So it's cool.
It sounds really interesting.
It was a fun movie. There was a lot of boxing, a lot of running. That was hard. The hard part was the actual like MMA fighting and learning that. I almost like threw up in the gym. So.
Oh no!
I was like, this is a lot of energy. I want to be sick in a minute.
And Chaos is Coming says this is their first time meeting you. What shows have you been on, and what games do you stream?
Oh, well, I've been on a lot of the true crime, like on Oxygen and Investigation Discovery. I've been on like Pamela Smart, American Murder Mystery, Homicide Hunter, Snapped, Murder Calls. I've done a lot of that kind of work, and I've been on commercials like Honda. I did a commercial for E3, which was like my most exciting thing.
Cool.
It was for Drake's Cakes, and it was like a bunch of commercial spots because they were the first like food sponsor for E3 last year.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's on PC Gamer, the commercial, so I was really excited about that. I was like, hey, so it's about like gaming etiquette and working with the mascot, which is this duck with a giant chef's hat, and it's really funny. And it was kind of creepy because he's like sitting in front of the TV and like the TV's flickering on his face, and he's just like this cold dead stare because it's a mascot of like a duck with blue eyes, and he has like a little headset and everything. He's just there playing games and off by himself, and like watching it being filmed was like the creepiest thing ever. But it was hard to keep a straight face because he's supposed to be a jerk in the commercial. Like he's not supposed to be nice. So one shot, I'm like trying to take a bite out of this snack cake, and he comes over and slaps it out of my hand for one, and then he like comes over and takes it out of my hand and takes a bite out of it, and we're supposed to like be so annoyed with him, and they put the Leroy Jenkins reference in the commercial too. They had to put that in the
Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah. And I guess as far as games, right now I'm streaming Heavy Rain here on YouTube, and then I'm streaming Witcher 3 right now over on Twitch. But I stream different things. I love RPGs. So
I do too. RPGs are my favorite genre.
They are like the story. It's the story, and if it's a character-driven game, it has my attention.
RPG says hi, and Mark has noticed Alfred. He says, "Cool dog."
Hey, yeah, here's Alfred.
That's Alfred Pennyworth.
Yes. He's just wandering around. You want to get him to laugh? He's like, I don't know. You're going to give me a treat? I have to bribe him with treats sometimes.
Chaos wants me to tell you that Alfred took something off your desktop behind you.
Oh, he did? Oh. He loves sticks, and he found like a stick, and then sometimes I have to take it out of his mouth. But yeah,
which Alfred was actually
he's a sneaky little guy, but yeah, he's cute.
He was actually in one of your YouTube videos. You did an unboxing from Chewy.com, and Alfred was the co-star.
Yes, I was trying to find a good thing that he could chew on. Yeah, I was trying to find something good that he could chew on that is going to be safe for him because he's a massive chewer. So I found like this little stick thing, and that thing was like super, super tough. Hey, buddy. And he loves that thing. It's supposed to be maple bacon flavored. So I did like decided to do an unboxing video. I'm like, hey, there's some stuff here that might be cool. Come here.
He's like, I want something.
Come here. Hey, buddy. I'll give you your toy. He's like, there you go. There you go.
Alfred's like, I want to be on the stream too.
He got the ball, so he's good to go. So that's what he does. He's like a mischievous little puppy. So yeah, I got a seatbelt for him also because I like taking him for car rides, and that was another reason why I kind of wanted to do an unboxing video, I guess. So finding out that something is safe for him. I saw a review for a seatbelt that I had gotten for him, and somebody was in actually a car accident with their dog and was rear-ended by a tractor trailer, and that seatbelt saved their dog's life. It kept it from being ejected from the car. So I had to get him that because taking him to the vet, he loves to run around my car, and he actually almost shifted my car in neutral and likes to crawl under my legs between the gas pedal and the and my legs. So like he needs a little seatbelt. So it attaches to his harness and lets him run around the back seat and still look out the window like he likes to do. So he's a goofball. He's a big thing of energy, aren't you, buddy? Yeah. So he's wild. He's super spoiled.
And RPG says, Heavy Rain, he's never played it. He wants to know, is it any fun and how long is the game? It's been a while since I've played it, so I can't remember how long it is. I think it's probably depending on what choices you make, because it is a narratively driven game where you make different choices.
It is.
But how are you liking it, Kacy?
I have played it once before, and it was a couple of years ago. I'm playing it for the second time now, and I'm trying to go with different choices. So I'm kind of taking the wild route, I guess, this time, going away from what I would normally pick as of me. But it's a pretty long game. It's been a long time since I played it, so I would say it probably takes about I'm trying to estimate. It's not near as long as like Horizon Zero Dawn or anything like that.
No.
It is. It would take. I know, like games like Detroit Become Human are really, really short. You could probably play it if you're playing all day. It might take 2 days. It just depends on how quick, because there's certain aspects of it that are depending on how well you do in challenges and stuff. It just kind of depends.
Yeah, and you can have characters die, so you could have someone completely wiped out their storyline that would shorten the game or whatever. So
yeah, it's very important to get through certain challenges in this game and the longer it takes you to get through the challenges, the longer the game is. So that it kind of depends on how well you do with the challenges presented to you in the game. If you zip right through it, then yeah, it can be a short game, because Detroit Become Human ended up being kind of shorter than I expected. It's like, oh wow, the game's over. But that took me. I play like an hour each time when I do a stream, like a little bit over an hour, and I would say it took me maybe 2 weeks worth of streams to beat it. So
yeah,
it just kind of depends on your pacing, if you like to zip through games, or how well you're at challenges. Like it just comes down to that, because there's challenges in the game that you have to get for the story to progress. So
yeah, when I first played it, I decided to do it on the hardest difficulty, and near the end of the game, I was like, contorting my hands on the controller, like, There's a lot of quick time and a lot of button pressing, and sometimes they'll be like, push all 4 face buttons and triggers. It's like, oh god, how do I do this? Mark the Martian wants to know, do you mostly stream on Twitch?
I've kind of evened it up. It used to be just mainly YouTube more than Twitch, but I've kind of tried to even the time between the two. So I stream like 3 days during the weekday for both Twitch and YouTube. I usually do Twitch first, followed by YouTube, and then I've done like an extra thing on Saturday, like an extra time.
And you do play 2 separate games, like one for YouTube, one for Twitch.
Yeah. When I first started, I tried to do one game and split between 2 platforms, and I thought that would be too confusing and hard to follow, because not everybody has a Twitch, not everybody really is on YouTube, and it just didn't seem fair. Like if somebody's mainly one platform, then they're missing part of the game, and I just didn't want to do that to somebody. And I just feel like it's easier to keep one game on one platform. It's easier to follow. I would be kind of that way. I would kind of want it on one place if I was watching it. So.
And you recently played Kingdom Hearts 3, I know.
Yes.
Which I saw that you were a little disappointed with it. I haven't played it yet, but
well, I was. I'm a huge fan of Kingdom Hearts. It's my favorite series. I did leave it disappointed after waiting like over a decade kind of for this game, because I've been playing when it first came out when I was like 12. And I remember after beating the second one and seeing that sneak scene, you know, the little tease for like the third one, I'm like, yo, it's going to come out next year, like the next year. And then time went by, and then, you know, they would tease it and say, next year, never mind, and like all this stuff. So it like built it up for so long to where I just had my expectations. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. And I, on purpose, didn't view the trailer, because I wanted to be surprised and have my own opinions of it. So I played it through, and I was disappointed to know that there aren't as many worlds as the first and the second one. And they made a lot of changes as far as controls go and mini games and side missions. And yeah, my biggest thing that I was upset about was I spent more time on the ultimate weapon than I did actually playing through the story. So I was like, man, this felt really short compared to the first and second game. But then again, I haven't played the first and the second game in years. So maybe I just need to go back and play the first and the second one and just kind of compare, because I guess it's not as fair to judge a game when you haven't played the first and the second one in a while. Yeah, but that was my initial feeling.
I've got Kingdom Hearts 3, but I'm like, I feel like I need to play the other Kingdom Hearts games so I can fully understand or try to understand the story.
It's a complicated thing. And that was the hard part also, is that you have all of these important games that contribute a lot to the story, but they're on different platforms. They're all like scattered. And like over the last few years, finally, they've kind of made the remixes where it's like, hey, here's all this. You can play it on PlayStation, and it's made it easier. But for such a complex story, it was really hard to kind of keep it all together with everything being on different platforms. Like 3DS, and got Chain of Memories and Dream Drop Distance and all this. And then thankfully there's videos on YouTube that explain everything. And it takes like an hour where it's like, okay, let's start at square one, figure out how everything fits together.
Chaos is Coming said, isn't Red Dead Redemption 2 about 2 days gameplay? It took me way longer than 2 days when I played it. I don't know. Did you play it, Kacy?
I haven't played Red Dead 2 yet, but I've heard really good things about it. I've heard somebody say that it was like one of the best games out there right now, and I'm excited to play it. I've got the first one, and honestly, as an honest admission, I haven't played through the first one all the way, but I've started it. It's just a matter of getting a bunch of things. It's busy schedule, and then trying to sit down and play a game, because my Red Dead is on PlayStation 3, so I'd have to switch consoles.
Oh, yeah. But when I played it, I think I clocked over 60 hours, so unless you played like 2 days straight and did no side missions, I don't think it's 2 days worth of gameplay. I think Sean played it for even longer, which I actually met Kacy through Sean. Horribly awkward.
Yes. That's really, yeah.
I meet everyone through Sean. Everyone that's on here, I'm like, oh, I met them through Sean.
Because Sean's awesome. You're awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chaos wants to know, what is your best and worst game? I'm assuming that means favorite and least favorite.
My favorite and least favorite? I mean, like, my favorite or what I'm best at? I don't know.
You can go with both.
I'll go both. Well, my favorite, I'm still sticking to Kingdom Hearts, is my favorite game. Even though the third one was disappointing, I love the first and the second one because I just love going to all of the different worlds of the class. I'm a huge Disney fan, so that contributes to it, and Final Fantasy. So it's like putting two things I love into like one game. I also love Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy IX. I'm a huge Final Fantasy person. In high school, spent so much time on Final Fantasy X. I was determined to beat it on Christmas break. So there was like a week where like I stayed up all night, didn't sleep because I wanted to beat this game, and eventually beat it before I had to go back to school. But yeah, that one, those two are like my top favorites. I love games like Portal. Portal is another favorite of mine. I like decision-based games. Beyond Two Souls is a really good game that I like.
I like that one too. A lot of people didn't like it, but I did.
It's like playing for a movie. I think that's why I like it so much. It just feels like an interactive movie. It's cool, and it's paranormal and all this stuff, sci-fi. Worst game. Oh, I can just go with this one. A lot of people like this game, but it made me angry, made me like close to rage quit. The Evil Within is my worst game right now.
I did like it, but I can understand where the frustration came from because it was really hard.
It's a hard game, and I'm not a great first-person shooter game. So I guess I would say like the games I'm not good at are like first-person shooters. It's different. It requires a different set of skills. I played Halo for a bit, and sometimes I'm good. But yeah, if you watch my Evil Within streams, people gave me such a hard time about aiming and running at the same time, and I'm just like, it's hard. And when zombies run at you in that game, I suddenly have the thought, what do I do with my hands? And I panic. And then because most of the time you're running from things, and I'm like, oh no, I got to do more running, and I got to think on my feet. I don't know where to go. And there's like a spider lady in there, and
she haunted my nightmares.
I hate that, and I thought I was done with her. And that was my mistake. But there's like this long hallway, and I was walking down the long hallway. And of course, you know when you're in that situation that something is going to happen. It's too quiet. So I go through the doorway, and there's a dead body in the middle of the floor. And I'm just trying to get my items around that before I trigger something. And that happened. She came up. And my instinct is to fight her because I'm fighting. You have to fight all these zombies in the game. And then I had people in the chat going, no, you're supposed to run. I'm like, oh, okay. You're not supposed to do that. And then later in the game, like one of the loading screens, and the message says, do not fight the spider lady. I'm like, the game is even telling me to stop it. But yeah. I'll play horror games just for the sheer fun of being bad at them, and just, I guess it's a laugh for people to watch me fail at them. And I don't care. It's a lot of fun that way. I'm glad I can make people laugh.
That's why I like to stream horror games, just so people can see me scream and jump and all that.
Yeah, that's the entertaining part, is watching people get freaked out.
Nintendo 2009 wants to know how old you were when you first started playing video games.
How old I was? I started with a Game Boy. I want to say 4 or 5 years old. I remember like sitting in the back seat with my brother. I had the clear purple Game Boy, and my brother had like the old, like the gray one. We were playing Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Red, and Pokemon Yellow, and then we got the silver and the gold. Space Invaders on Game Boy. And then we upgraded to we had the Super Nintendo. And I remember, and I don't know how in the world the GameStop employees did not murder me, but I saved up a jar of coins from under the couch and everything, and had a giant jar of coins that totaled up to enough to buy a Nintendo 64. And when they were like, how are you going to pay? I just dumped the entire thing of coins on the counter and bought a Nintendo 64 with a jar of change. So working in retail, in my life, now I'm like, yeah, I don't know how they didn't kill me, right there on the spot. So we did that, and my brother got the GameCube, and we kind of got systems together. He kind of helped me get into video games too, especially horror, because he would invite his friends over. We played Silent Hill, Devil May Cry, and especially, and back in that time, you could get a pizza from Pizza Hut, and they'd give you that disc, a demo disc to play a bunch of games. I lived for those. Those were awesome. So yeah, we did a lot of that, but it usually came from my brother, and then he passed that down to me at a very young age, and then we really got into games, and we shared game systems.
That's really cool. I was about the same age when I first started gaming, 4 or 5, but my first console was a PlayStation 1, and my first game was Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider! Yeah! Good taste. Yes!
And then I always played with my uncle, too, and we played Tomb Raider, the first Resident Evil, first or second Silent Hill. I can't remember which one we played together. Legacy of Kain. I started out pretty much not like most kids do with the bright, colorful Nintendo games. I started out with the teen and mature rated. It's shoot the demons, kill the demons.
Shoot the demons! The little demons!
And then Chaos is coming as a question. He wants to know from both of us, who would we pick to defeat Thanos in Avengers Endgame? Like, which hero would we pick and how do they beat him? I know how it goes in the comic books, but, I mean, my favorite's Thor. I want him to avenge Loki, because I loved Loki, and if Sean ever watches this, he'll kill me because he hates Tom Hiddleston for some reason. Like, I was with Sean when we watched Avengers Infinity War, and as soon as, spoiler, Loki died, Sean was like, yes! I was like, no!
Oh! You're like, no!
But anyway,
everybody, Thor's a good superhero.
I just want Thor, but I mean, who would you pick?
I'd have to go with my favorite. My favorite of the Marvel Universe is Captain America.
He's my second favorite.
So I would say that, but I know, things go differently in the comics and stuff that I won't read what happens in the comics until this comes out. The way I can just kind of compare, but I don't know. I just stick with Captain. I know a lot of people like Iron Man. A lot of people like Thor, and Thor is a great superhero. I'm not that big of a fan of Iron Man, actually. Sorry.
I'm not either. I mean, I've only seen the first Iron Man movie by itself, and I thought it was good, but I just watched it last year for the second time. The first time I hated it, and then I thought, oh, it's pretty good last year, so I need to watch the other two, which I've heard the second one's terrible, but I'm going to watch it anyway. But he's not my favorite. I mean, he's got a cool suit, but he's not my favorite. Like, I just like Thor because he's Asgardian. He's magical, kind of. He's the god of thunder. And he's got... Well, he had Mjolnir, but if you watch the movies now, Mark the Martian says Gamora.
That would be actually great if that happened. I don't know.
That would be, yeah. And Chaos is Coming says that when they were 5, they started watching horror, and to this day, no horror movie has ever scared them. I was afraid of horror until I was about 16 when I decided to dip my toe into the horror movie genre, and I watched The Messengers, which I know is not the best movie ever, but as a 16-year-old who was a sissy, The Messengers with Kristen Stewart was pretty tame, and it still scared me because at that time, I was traumatized by scary stories to tell in the dark as a kid because I went to a Lutheran school, and for some reason the teacher thought it would be cool to read those to her 5th grade students. So I had nightmares. I had to sleep in my mom's bed for forever after that because I was terrified. I kept imagining the characters from the books coming and trying to kill me and stuff. So I didn't watch horror until I was 16, and even then I had to ramp it up slowly until today, where basically the only thing that scares me now are possession movies, just because, like I said, I was raised going to a Lutheran school, raised going to church. So that's still it's like, oh my god.
Like, what?
I just watched The Exorcist earlier this year for the first time, and it scared me while watching and that night. But after that, I was like, okay, I'm not scared anymore. But
are you going to watch the remake for Scary Stories to Tell the Dark?
I haven't even watched the trailer. I'm afraid to watch that trailer because I remember my childhood trauma.
It's Cameron Toro.
I love Del Toro. I love him, but I'm just like, I can't make myself watch the trailer. I'm traumatized.
I haven't watched the trailer yet either. I like to just go into the movie without seeing a glimpse of it.
Trailers now show a lot of plot points in movies now. It's like, why? Don't put that in the trailer.
Please don't. Please don't spoil it. I'm trying to avoid spoilers for Walking Dead right now.
I just finished Walking Dead. I watched it last night, but yeah, no spoilers for Walking Dead for Kacy.
Yeah, please.
Nintendo 2009 asked me if I'm still watching a movie a day. I did that for 2 years in a row, and right now I'm currently not. I miss it, but I'm juggling so many different things, which when I say I'm juggling a lot of things, it's not that much to the normal person. Just me being, people are going to hate me for saying this, autistic and dealing with all this kind of stuff. Like, if I watch a bunch of movies, bunch of TV shows, read a bunch of books, play a bunch of games, and also try to do chores around the house and taking care of my cat and all that, that exhausts me. A normal person, that sounds like paradise, but my brain works differently. So, I'm not currently, but I have been tempted to since I haven't mentioned this on YouTube yet, but I've given up drinking, and it's kind of like, no, I need something else, another coping mechanism. So I'm almost tempted to do it again, but I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But I do try to watch several a week, so it's still very much
a cool challenge,
a part of my life. So
that's a really cool challenge to have, to do movies a day.
Yeah,
so much from them.
It gave me a routine, and it was something to look forward to, and I was able to catch up on a lot of movies I had missed before that I'd never seen, because I didn't watch any R-rated movies until I was 16, because I set this stupid rule for myself that I couldn't watch R-rated movies until I was old enough. But then when I was 16, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to break the rules and, watch them a year early. My parents never had to enforce that. That was all me. That was me being like, I can't watch R-rated movies. I'm not old enough yet. So I missed a lot. And people were always surprised if I mentioned I was watching a certain movie that's considered a classic. And I'm like, well, I never got to watch it because it was R-rated. So
R-rated movies. Yeah.
So those 2 years were really good. Like, I did watch some stinkers, but a lot of movies I just fell in love with during those 2 years. So,
did you watch some independent films?
I watched a lot of independent films. I watched a lot of older movies I missed. I watched a lot of movies that came out in theaters. Like, I just watched every kind of movie.
Oh, that's cool.
And Chaos is Coming agrees with you about Captain America being the best Avenger.
He's cool.
And Mark the Martian wants to know, who are your favorite actresses that inspire you?
Ooh, well, I would say I'm a big fan of Keira Knightley, and not really so much the Pirates of the Caribbean. That's when I first, really noticed her work. But I went back and watched all the stuff that she's in, and I admire her because she picks a lot of period pieces. And I watched an interview with her once. And the cool thing about her is that she's very selective about the things that she does. She wants to do roles where there's powerful, tough women, and likes to do period projects. And I'm just like, that's what I like to do. I like historical stuff, and I feel like that goes along. She's similar to what I want to do, and she just seems like a classy actress.
She does.
And I've always been a fan of Kate Winslet because she's just a classy lady and does a lot of classy work. They don't really hit blockbusters very well. They're just into like period stuff or whatever like they enjoy, not really like what's going to be the biggest money maker. And I think that's just the cool part about them. And I've noticed, as far as actors, I'm really into like British actors. I like Jude Law.
He's really good, actually. A lot of people don't mention him, but he's a really good actor.
Yeah. So when I go down my actors list, and I'm a huge fan of Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd's awesome.
I like him in serious roles, and like he's good as Ant-Man, but I'm not a comedy fan. And as I've gotten older, I've noticed that my tolerance for like raunchy things, somewhat offensive things, juvenile things, gets lower and lower every year. Like this year, I'm like, I'm not having any of it. Not having any of it.
Not.
Like, it genuinely makes me mad sometimes if I see people like gushing about like porn or something. Like, it makes me mad. I'm like, that's disgusting. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. It's just me. That's me. I don't like it. It just,
you like raunchy.
I don't like raunchy stuff. I don't like stuff that's overtly sexual. If it's like in a movie and it's tastefully done, I don't mind it. But if it's done just to be, just to try to sensationalize it, can't think of the word, provocative, just try to like
get a shock factor.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's just, It doesn't have a purpose. Yeah.
I don't like really, I guess, a dumb sense of humor, I guess a good thing would be like, I saw Anchorman, and I really don't understand the point of Anchorman. I'm sorry, I don't want to ruffle any feathers either. But watching it, I'm just kind of like, oh, what in the world is going on in this? And I like stuff like The Office, but certain things, it's like Napoleon Dynamite. I couldn't make it through that movie.
Napoleon Dynamite, yes. Wholesome. I love it.
It's often? I'm sorry. I don't know. It's just I have a weird thing. Like I was like, what is this? I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm sorry, I have a different taste. I'm not like ripping on people that like Napoleon Dynamite though.
No, the first time I watched it, I was like that too, and then for some reason I kept rewatching it. And every time I rewatched it, it became funnier. And to this day I can still watch it and laugh like at everything in it. I don't know how it grew on me, but I just like that it's wholesome. Like I like that it's wholesome. You know, there's not really any cursing in it. There's no sexual things. You know, there's no. I mean, the comedy for the most part, it's. I mean, it's not like super smart, but it's not. You know, bodily fluid or anatomical humor or anything like that. It's just it's wholesome. It's wholesome. I like wholesome.
You like.
I like wholesome.
I don't know. Some Will Ferrell stuff is just.
I really don't like his movies. I know that a lot of people do. This is unpopular opinion time with Alyssa. I don't like a lot of Will Ferrell stuff. Some people told me that he's really good in is it Kicking and Screaming? Or there's a couple of serious movies he's been in, but I haven't watched them. And the same goes to Jim Carrey. I usually don't like him, but I liked him in The Truman Show and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. He was great. But comedy-wise, I don't like his movies.
Mm-hmm. It's just, I know that it's just a certain sense of humor that I guess appeals to like certain people. And it just, like Anchorman it was just like, what is going on right now? And I like silly stuff where it's just like random, like stuff that doesn't make any sense. You know? He is going wild. Yeah, like I don't know, like I can get like The Office humor, Parks and Recreation, Monty Python, like that kind of humor is great. It's just, but certain things I'm just like, what is even going on? Yeah, so I don't know. Paul Rudd's always been like, I loved Ant-Man because he's so funny, and it's just the quirkiness. And then going back and watching Friends for the first time, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's in Friends.
He's good in Friends, yeah.
Yeah, he's just. And then he apparently doesn't age, and it's like, okay, well.
Martha Martian mentioned that Alita was good because she was a strong female hero. I loved Alita. Like, I'm such a huge Alita Battle Angel or Battle Angel Alita fan. I love it. I love everything. The manga, the anime, the movie. I love it all.
It's so good. Let me think after.
Chaos wants to know if we are going to see Shazam this week. I plan on going this week sometime. Probably the weekend.
I need to see that too.
Sean saw it, said it was really fun, so I do want to see it. I like Zachary Levi. I think he's really... I liked him in Chuck, so and in Mrs. Maisel, so I think he's going to be fun to watch.
I haven't seen Mrs. Maisel yet, but that's on my list.
It's a really good show. It does have some things I don't really like about it, like I mentioned before, but most of it I like. So, Pierre wants to know, did we see Captain Marvel? I did. I really liked it. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I liked it. My favorite was Goose the Cat. Goose was amazing.
Goose. Do you like Brie Larson as an actress?
I do like Brie Larson.
Me too. She was good in Room.
Yeah, that was a fantastic movie. And she's also good in Short Term 12. I liked her in The Glass Castle, even though the movie's not as good as the book. She was good in that. I'm really excited to see her directorial debut on Netflix coming out the 5th of this month, Unicorn Store. She stars in it and she directed it, so I'm interested to see that. It's also got Samuel L. Jackson in it, so I think that's going to be fun.
Samuel Jackson. Buddy.
And Chaos wants to know, in Avengers Endgame, who do you think is a Skrull? I don't know. I don't know if Skrull's going to be a part of Endgame, to be honest. Maybe. Maybe Ben Mendelsohn comes back. I don't know. And he also likes your dog. Chaos likes Alfred.
He is a handful of like silly nerdiness and goofiness.
Oh, he's a cutie. But I also want to talk to you about your photography, which I want to know how you got into that, because you're a very good photographer.
Thank you. Well, with photography, I started it because I had a friend that was going to school in photography. And I actually, with photography students, a lot of them ask for help. They need models to complete their projects on a short amount of time to have an assignment done by like the next class. And so he reached out, and he was, because we were involved in theater together, and he asked me if I wanted to do some photo shoots for him for like certain assignments. And then other friends that he had needed help, and they needed to do stuff for like different concepts, paint, or like vintage. One girl did vintage, and it was so much fun. And then I just spent a summer of like, hey, I want to learn from you. So he kind of gave me his camera, was teaching me the basics of like Photoshop and photography, and I got to learn a bit about it. And it was interesting learning about the rules of like lighting. And from doing theater, I learned a little bit of like lighting design through, he's getting my hand so slobbery right now. And lighting design was fun because you learn like key lighting and fill lighting and stuff like that. So a lot of it kind of crossed over into photography, and it's just fun composing a picture. So it just kind of sparked my interest. And he would give me a challenge of like, want to go shoot things. And then editing, he was kind of teaching me the editing process, and spent like nights in the photo lab just editing. But I don't know, it's cool because you tell a story through photography. You see the world from a different perspective, and I just like creating art out of it. So like vintage photos were so much fun to do. I like, it all goes back to like time periods. I'm always interested in like time periods and just making something creative with that.
I love period pieces too. Have you ever watched Downton Abbey?
I started it. It's on my list of shows I need to finish up there with like True Detective and everything. I've got so many shows on there, and I've heard so many good things about Downton Abbey.
Oh, I watched all 7 seasons in like 2 weeks' time. I was so addicted to it. It's so good.
It's such a good show. Maggie Smith's in it. That's enough to like watch it.
So good. She's so good in it. Like, I was just like, I just want her to be my grandma. She's so sassy in it. Like,
I see all these gifs about her, and I'm just like, I need to watch this show because I'm liking like the vibe I'm getting from her in the.
Oh, she's wonderful.
She sounds so awesome.
Mark the Martian asks, favorite all-time movies?
Oh my goodness, the toughest question. I've got a list. People ask me my favorite movie, and I'm just like, I could give you a list and categories. Like, I could give you a favorite Disney movie. My favorite Disney movie is Beauty and the Beast, closely followed by Alice in Wonderland. I always say this movie is my favorite because it had such a deep impact on me, and it's not like a favorite of like, oh my gosh, this is somebody's favorite movie, but they make it on my favorite list if they deeply resonate with me. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why, as a side note, why I chose to like do film and acting, because I like storytelling and making a big difference. And like, people go into a movie and then they feel completely different afterwards. They feel like they've changed in some way, and I just in a good way, and inspiring people. It's just that kind of thing. I like feeling inspired by a movie. So I guess I would say P.S. I Love You is one of my favorites.
It's a good movie.
It makes me cry every single time. And if a movie can make me cry, then it's a good chance I feel like it's a good movie, and it makes it on my favorites list. Watched A Dog's Purpose recently, and it was a mistake.
They have a new one coming out, and they showed the trailer for it before. What did I go see? Oh, I just forgot the movie I went to go see. They showed it before. It wasn't us. 5 Feet Apart. They showed it before 5 Feet Apart, and just the trailer, I was bawling. I'm like, no, I can't watch this movie. I just saw the trailer and I'm bawling.
I need like the Emma Stone gif. It's like ice cream going.
Yeah.
Tissues. That movie, if it has a dog in it, like, I still haven't seen Marley and Me because I
only saw the end of that because my parents were watching it, and I purposely stayed in my room, and I thought they were finished. I walked out right during that one scene, and I started like bawling and couldn't stop for the rest of the night. I can't watch animal movies. I just can't because the animals always get hurt, lost, or they die, and I can't do it. I can't do it. Even if it has a happy ending, when they get hurt or lost, I'm like, nope, no, I can't do this. I can't handle it.
That's like The Revenant, you know? There's like a part where like a horse...
That sort of stuff, yeah.
A horse falls, and I'm like, no. And then I know that he has to do it for some sort of like survival. Alfred's grabbing random objects right now. He's like a 2-year-old. He's like 1-year-old, so like it's like tracking a 2-year-old around the room, like, okay, get that out of your mouth. Please. He loves attention, so like anything like this, like he has to be a part of it. Sweet puppy. But yeah, like the horse falling off the cliff. I'm like, no. Or like I Am Legend, and it's like, no.
That movie, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Rip my heart out while you're at it and just stomp it on it in the dirt. Just, no. I can't.
The Dirt? The new like, Molly Crew movie, or?
Oh, I'm just talking about like ripping my heart out and just throwing it in the dirt and stomping it.
Molly, I was like, what?
That's what it feels like. But...
Chaos wants to know how old Alfred is.
He will be 2 August the 2nd. I don't know his exact birthday. He came from an animal shelter. So I like to say his birthday is going to be his adoption day. So I adopted him August 2nd, 2017. And they said he was a Jack Russell mix, and it's like, no.
He's huge.
He's got Pitbull, Labrador, Golden Retriever, and everything in him. He loves attention, guys. So.
But you also have.
It's a good puppy, though.
You also have cats,
Spoiled. Right? He's trying to pull my arm toward his mouth, so I can give him the treat.
You also have a couple cats, right?
Yes, I have several cats. I'm a cat lady and a dog lady. I have a cat named Priscilla that's full of attitude, and she meows like she's yelling at you. So I feel like I'm constantly like just being yelled at. And I wish I had like a cat translator, because I'm sure I would hear a lot of different things. I'd hear like Alfred going treat, 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 toy, 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 squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. And then my cat would be like, seriously, Kacy, you're gonna do that right now? Like I feel like that's what my cat would be saying. And then there's like another cat that just doesn't care and wants to snuggle you, and like she just walks up on me and just falls over and wants to go to sleep. I'm like, oh, different polar opposites personality wise here. I love these streets, don't you, buddy?
Pierre Kelly. Oh, go ahead.
And he's just being quirky.
Pierre Kelly said that they checked your resume out on your website and you listed flute and piccolo. Were you ever good at it?
I did those in band. He's hopping all over me. I did flute and band, and then I switched over to doing some piccolo, and I did color guard in high school. So it just kind of stems from that. I started band in middle school, and because flute was the only instrument I could really play, because clarinet, I felt like my head was going to explode, or like the saxophone, because you have to blow on the reed, and I couldn't correctly do that to make the sound, and I couldn't play brass instrument because I can't buzz my lips. So it was like flute for me. And I still played it kind of weird, though. I had the way my mouth is structured, I had to like blow at a diagonal angle in order to get the sound out of the flute. So I was like, well, I'm just doing my best. A for effort. So I don't know if I was like meant to play an instrument. I'm glad that I was able to find a way, but I don't know. It didn't seem like it was in the cards for me at first. So it was fun. I wish I could have learned to play piano. I've tried to learn guitar over time. I've got an acoustic guitar. It's just hard to learn, and it's hard on your fingers.
Yeah, I tried learning guitar, but the thing is my nails grow so fast, and they get so long, and the thing is I don't like having them super short. So I'm like, yeah, guitar is a deal breaker. No. Nails stay.
Nails. Nails, calluses, all kinds of stuff.
RPG wants to know, do you stream full-time or do you have a job on the outside?
I work at a local college as my day job. I like that job because they let me go do film work as well. They work well with me. When I took the job, they're like, yeah, we can work with your film job. So they try to like free up my schedule as much as possible to just go on the road because film happens at any time. That's nice to have that. I'm very lucky to have that set up. As far as streaming, I do streaming as like I'd like it to be more than just like a thing I do on the side. I'm trying to grow my channel right now. But yeah, it's definitely a part-time thing. I have a lot of part-time stuff. Photography's part-time. I'd say acting is full-time. Film is more like full-time, and then I'd like streaming to go up to where acting is. But yeah, it's just a combination of a ton of part-time jobs to make one gigantic umbrella of a full-time job. The struggles of, arts and stuff, trying to do stuff you enjoy and building up to that.
And I kind of wanted to mention something, but I don't know if you're comfortable with it. You post a lot on social media about certain things.
Yeah.
Like the one thing I commented on, that it's like they want to know everything about you.
Oh,
can I mention this or not?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
You can. I'm actually going to come up with like a thing for my channel and stuff about it. So yeah, it's going to be a thing. I'm working on it.
Okay, so Kacy has a lot of funny, creepy encounters with guys on dating sites. She posts them on social media a lot, and they always make me cringe or laugh when I see them. Can you tell us some of your worst experiences or best experiences?
Well, let's see. What I could say would be, there's so many. I've had a lot of really weird date experiences. I've gone on dates. I've gone on, the apps are, and the dating websites provide a lot of interesting things. And it's gotten to where, like, I just don't take it seriously anymore. I mainly just open up the app to just kind of see what message I've gotten for the day. Just be like, oh, well, this is nice. And I just close the thing. But I've gotten a lot of weird stuff where it's like, I want to know everything about you. Then I won't respond.
A guy that did that. It was in all caps, too. So it's like demanding.
Yeah, he was like, I would like to know more about you, ... I want to know everything about you. And I'm like,
and then afterwards, he's like, when she didn't respond, he's like, hey, talk to me.
It's really, it can be kind of scary at times.
Yeah.
Like, I do not know what I'm going to get. And there's some creepy messages. They really want you to talk to them. And if you don't talk to them, they get really aggressive. And there was one situation where, like, I didn't respond to this guy because I didn't want to waste his time. Like, that's the main reason I don't respond, is that, if I feel like our interests don't align, I'm not going to respond. And I just think not responding would be the best thing to do, so that way you could just move on. And I had one situation where I didn't respond, and he was consistent. Like, every day I got a message going, hey, talk to me. Hey, what about you? Hey, I'm interested in this. And then I just ignored each one of them and didn't say anything. And then the last one was like, well, you wasted your art degree on theater and dance. And all this stuff. I'm like, whoa, you're getting super personal because I didn't respond. It was just like, whoa. But you get weird ones where they're like, hey, what's up? Hey, can you marry me? Hey. And I find myself in weird dates. Like, I'm just awkward. I'm a magnet for awkward dates, because I went on a date actually with somebody. I went on a date to see Aquaman. I went on a date to see Black Panther. And each time the guy is always like giving me all kinds of hell for like liking DC comics. And like all that stuff. So
why'd they agree to go see the movie in the first place if they don't like DC comics?
He was he was like, Aquaman, did you like Aquaman? I'm like, yeah, I thought it was pretty good. For like Aquaman, I was kind of impressed like with what they were able to do with it and make him, I guess, suddenly cool for everybody. And that he was like, well, I hated it. okay. And then Black Panther, the guy was like reminding me every 5 minutes like why Marvel was better than DC, knowing that I like DC. And he's like, yeah, Marvel. He's like, did you see like that thing in DC? Like, this wouldn't happen in the Marvel movie. Like, he didn't even know who Black Panther was. He's like, I don't know who Black Panther is. I'm like, you haven't? Like, he was in these movies. I was like going down the list, and he's like, no, I never saw any of those. And he actually thought the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer wasn't Spider-Man. He's like, what is this? I'm like, it's Spider-Man. And he's like, no, it's not. I'm like, yep, Spider-Man.
I mean, if you're gonna act like an entitled fanboy, at least know your stuff.
Right? He keeps pulling random things off. But yeah, I've got like a bunch of weird messages. So many. Let's see. I got one just now, actually.
Oh, God.
But a lot of them are like, hey, what's up? Hey, talk to me. And then they get creepy. One guy was like, hey, can you send me a picture of your feet?
Oh, I've gotten a lot of those. I don't get them now, but before I was dating Sean, I would get those a lot.
They get really weird. Gosh, I just trying to think of like all the. I went on a date with a doctor once, and that was the most awkward thing ever. Too, went on a date where like they tried to. He went in for a hug, and I hugged him, and then you're supposed to mutually let go in a hug.
Yeah,
and he totally didn't. He was just like holding on to me. And here I am with my hands at my side, like, abort, 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 abort.
Oh, God.
Please, abort. Yeah. Another one was like, he tried to like go in for like, a first date kiss. And I was like, hug. Yeah. Hug. Dodge. And they say things like, hey, I'd love to see you again. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. It's awful. Like, it's just, dating is a scary world out there. I'm trying to think of like all these. I get a lot of creepy messages. It's kind of hard to think of one like off the top of my head. I'm trying to like, see. But a lot of them are just weird things like, hey, marry me. Hey, what are you into? They'll ask me really weird questions like, hey, come over and hang out with me tonight. I'm feeling kind of lonely. And like, no. So it's just a lot of crazy stuff. But it sounds like sad sometimes, but it's just, sometimes it can be really, really interesting. It could be a study for like acting, an acting character. There's that. Yeah, he apologized he's like, I'm a bit of a nerd too, so don't feel bad. Like, I got that message recently. I'm like, why would I feel bad about?
Yeah, no need to feel bad about being a nerd.
Sometimes I just got a punctuation mark. I got a period once, like just a period, grammar point. So I was like, I don't know what to do with that. Just period. There's so many. I got slammed for like having a picture. I get this a lot. I get slammed for having a picture of a PlayStation 4 controller in my picture. They go, it would have been cool if it was an Xbox controller. I'm like, huh. Well, little do you know, I got an Xbox controller too. So, yeah. Don't shame other systems.
I know.
Oh, this guy sent me, I can always show you romance. And then there's one that's like, I'm not going to say the username. The usernames are also fun too, because it's just, you could tell how much effort that they put into their profile, but like their username. And this username was like a stream of like, Jesse is up something. And I was like, well, Jesse dodged a bullet. So I post these all the time, and I thought about like writing a book. Somebody told me to write a book on it. And so that's what I'm working on right now, is like writing a book on my horrible like dating experience and just the awkward stuff I've just gone through. And I thought about putting something on my YouTube channel about it. Just kind of, maybe it's like reading dating messages. I don't know. Something like that might be fun to do. I thought about it.
I think that'd be fun.
I've gotten a lot of positive response. It brightens people's day to like read the really terrible messages. So, you know, why not? Oh, and another thing I keep getting is like they keep confusing Natalie Portman with Carrie Fisher. In
I saw that, apps. Yeah.
And I've never felt more disappointed ever in this. This guy was like, didn't I see you on Naboon once? And I'm like, Naboon? You mean like Star Wars? And he's like, you said nerd. I'm like, yes, and I was just making sure that you're trying to reference Star Wars because it's actually Naboo. And I said, someone recently said that I look like Natalie Portman who played Princess Leia, and it made me sad. And he goes, why? She is beautiful. And I'm like, but you know that Natalie Portman isn't Princess Leia. Princess Leia is Carrie Fisher, and Padme or Queen Amidala is Natalie Portman. And he's like, I know that, but that's bid you good night. I have to work early. And that was the last time I heard from him. And then after that, I said, you know, it seemed like you didn't really know because you said Naboon, but okay.
Naboon.
So that's kind of just, they still think Princess Leia is Natalie Portman, and it's not. And to this day, I don't know if he meant that I look like Natalie Portman or Carrie Fisher. I have no idea.
Mark the Martian said that he met his fiance on OkCupid and that he sent his YouTube page to her so she could see how weird he was ahead of time.
Oh, screening process?
I mean, that sounds like a good plan. I mean, just be like, hey. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's how Sean got to know me. He saw my videos and stuff before. And I was on his podcast before we started dating, so he kind of knew what he was getting into.
You get to know somebody that way. And then here's another message that says, I can tell this profile is fake because there's no way a model this gorgeous would be on here. What's the name of this beautiful woman's picture you're using? Then you and then I.
It's like, it's me.
That's my picture. And I just put, that's my face. And that was my response. And I didn't hear anything after that.
He's like, I don't believe her. It can't be real.
Well, this is the one that a lot of people liked. It's like to have you to spoil sexy. You like spoiled? What it took to get you sexy. And they're all like February 27th, March the 9th, and then March the 9th again. But like the grammar is really bad. Like 2 is like 2 as in 2 zeros, 2 O, O and then O. And then 1, he just sent, I want it. And that was the only thing he said.
It's like, I don't want it. Go away.
I don't want it. No, thank you. So, yeah, that's just... Someone said, hello, Dello Dork. Or, hey, El Nerdo Della Dork. How are you? You star in any interesting roles of late. You know, this profile one can tell everything about you. You reveal too much, kiddo.
Dello.
And this one was kind of weird. It's like, hello there. How is 2019 treating you so far? I just came across your profile and thought you looked like you may be interesting to chat with. This is my name. The age is wrong on my profile. I am actually 30. I wanted to make that clear up front. So I'm like, are you really 30? Or... Yeah.
Was his age younger on his profile than 30?
I think it was, I'm not sure. I cropped it, but sometimes they'll have like their age like 27 or whatever, and then it's like, I'm actually 20. And I'm like, what? So it's just like, what are you doing? You know?
People are crazy.
Weird stuff.
There are success stories like Mark's, but there are a lot of not so successful stories.
Yeah. This one, there's another one that says, he's like, hey there, will you marry me? LOL. And I said, your profile says you weren't seeking a relationship or any type of commitment. And then he responds going, oh, does it? I should change that then.
Mark wants to know what site you're using.
Oh my gosh, I use all of them. I signed up for eHarmony as a joke. And I'm like, it says it's the #1 trusted dating site, so I'm going to give it a try for a year. And I actually put out, like, I sent them a tweet of, like, this is a terrible service. I haven't had any luck and no matches because my matches don't complete their profile. And they're always, like, super far away. Hey, buddy. Yeah, like, I recently signed up to eHarmony. I use Bumble. I use POF. POF is where, like, get some weird stuff. But all of them do. I don't, like, I'm not looking for anything. I'm not a casual type of person, but I will download a dating app to meet people because it seems like a lot of people are on popular things like Tinder. So I have that. I have OkCupid. I just got all of them to just kind of cast a wide net, and I'm not having any luck with any of them. So, but you know, it's entertaining. I've used it for that, if anything, because for a while I kind of got like upset a bit, like, oh man, you get kind of frustrated not meeting anybody like nice or good, and then you kind of look on the bright side, be like, okay, this is inspiration for something. I can use this later in my acting career, just like, or just to laugh at. And it brings people joy to read of my misfortunes in dating. So that's what I kind of use it for now. I'm just like, here's a funny message that people would appreciate.
You'll meet the right guy.
Yeah.
At the right time.
At the right time. He's lost somewhere. He's probably in the same situation I am on these awkward dates, and maybe we'll find each other and go on like what we think is going to be an awkward date, and it's actually the best date ever.
I'm sure everyone will be happy on social media. But also sad, because they'll be like, oh, I feel like I'm posting more funny, weird dating app things anymore.
It's, at this point, I just see like those weird messages as like just making something creative out of it. So it's fun to just read like creepy things.
We probably need to wrap this up soon, but if anyone wants to ask any more questions, do that now or forever hold your peace. So if anyone has any questions, now's the time. Alfred's also like, I want the attention.
He wants all the attention right now.
He's like, ask me questions. Oh, I'm not seeing any pop up at the moment, so I'm going to start wrapping it up. If someone does ask a question, I'll sneak it in. But I do have all of Kacy's social sites and her Twitch channel and YouTube channel linked down below in the description box. So go follow her on everything. Check out her streams. Support her. Thank you for watching and for hanging out with us, for asking questions. It's been super fun. Thank you, Kacy, for coming on. It's been really cool to chat with you face to face or, you know, screen to screen for the first time.
Thank you for having me.
It was so cool to meet Albert. And Mark does have a little question. He said, what are your goals?
My goal, I've set a really big goal. It's always been a goal to be in a giant like blockbuster thing. I'd love to make it to like Game of Thrones level, like in a show like Game of Thrones. I'd love to make it into like a superhero movie. Those are always been like goals for me. But my biggest goal I would love to one day make it to like the Academy Awards, or like the Golden Globes, the Emmys. Like I want to make it to that level. It's a huge goal I've always had for myself, and I want to kind of stay true to it. So my next goal, like in the near future, would be to like land something like on Netflix or like an actual network like ABC or CW. I'd love to do like a show on CW, like Riverdale or Arrow.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I would love. So that's a near goal for me, since I had the Netflix opportunity and other like ABC network opportunities, like auditions. Next step would be getting one of those, and then the huge goal with Academy Awards, Golden Globes.
Those are good goals.
Working toward it, trying. So that's the plan.
So I think we're gonna wrap this up. Do you want to say a special goodbye, Kacy, or just want to leave it to me?
Well, I just want to thank you for having me and Alfred here on this and letting us talk to you about film and video games and stuff. It's been so much fun chatting with you. I appreciate it. Had a fun time talking to those in chat and enjoyed your questions. And I look forward to like hopefully seeing you guys around and chatting with you guys because I love like just chatting and talking and hanging out with everybody. So thank you all.
Well, thank you for coming, and you're always welcome here. So if you ever want to come back, just let me know.
All right. I'd love to be back and at some point. That would be great.
So I guess we're going to say bye to you guys. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope you have a wonderful day, Kacy, and have a good stream later.
Cool. Yeah. Everybody's welcome for the stream if they'd like to. Fun times. So yeah. Thank you.
I love you all, and bye.